Just a second, sorry guys. Wow, that's good. It's cold. First, want to thank the fans for coming out tonight. Know that probably wasn't exciting as they wanted to be, but it was important for us to get a game simulation in, as a dress rehearsal. And so I thought our guys handled it well today. Had a long day building up to a 7 o'clock kick. Tried to recreate what it was going to be like in 12 days for us, and so I thought our guys handled it well. It was important for us to put ourselves in that situation. Thought we, handled air tonight pretty well on both sides of the ball. Probably the guy that had the best performance was Jack Whitty, the defensive GA who played quarterback. He heard about South Carolina's quarterback last year and decided to put on a show for the fans tonight, and I thought he did a nice job. But in all seriousness, it was a great way to end camp for us. Excited about where we're at in all three phases of our football team, both offense, defense, and special teams. I think our guys did exactly what we asked them to do. And now it's time for us to turn the page and get ready for Louisiana Tech. And we will do that starting on Tuesday. A couple of announcements. We had a little bit of illness going through our team, nothing to be concerned about, but EJ, Luke Griffin, Tyler Macon, and Elijah Young were not out there tonight. No reason to be concerned or start message boards chats. At halftime, I got a text from Frank Cusimano wondering where everybody was at. So, Frank, calm down. We're all good. But no, those guys will be back. In fact, all of them will be back they'll be in first day of class on Monday, so be ready to go there. Injuries, I know everybody was worried about Jack Abraham. Jack took a vet day today. When you have a 7, you've been playing for as long as he has, you get some vet days. So he'll be back ready to go on Tuesday, and so we just wanted to get those other guys the reps. Carmicah Glass, a freshman, had a pre-existing injury coming in, was going to try to push through it and see if he could, but wouldn't allow him to, and so he had season-ending surgery on Friday, and we will miss him for the rest of the season, but he will be back in the spring. The one that's the most disappointing and feel terrible about, Chuck Hicks was injured in our second scrimmage, had a upper body torso injury, and is going to miss the remainder of the season. And so hate that for him. He will be able to qualify for a medical, which we'll apply for, and he'll get this year back. But other than that, I think now I can open it up for questions.
Coach, near the beginning of camp, we kind of talked about how you wanted more, toughness of identifying, your identity of this team. How do you feel like that's grown throughout camp now?
We had a 4-6-4 split as far as how we organized our workouts. Had 3 days of tackling and 2 scrimmages within the first 11 days of camp, and so really put those guys through it. Our guys responded really well. I thought we really challenged them the last 3 days too, to really pick up the intensity and not just get through camp, but to really put the pedal down and accelerate through the curve. And I feel like those guys responded, but we'll find out in 12 days.
Eli, I know you said you're going to start game prep. How do you handle, jobs still being open, how close do you feel like you are to knowing you're top 22?
We had a staff meeting today and feel like we know exactly where we're at. I feel like we know our 22 deep on both sides, and we'll be sharing that with the guys over the course of the next 48 hours about what their roles are. And it's going to really be key for us to embrace our role and put the team first. And everybody's got to understand, whether you're on the scout team or the starting quarterback, everybody's role is important in this organization, and you need to do your job at a high level in order for us to be successful.
Coach, a couple of weeks ago, Blake Baker identified, I think it was Damian Wilson, Devin Nicholson, and Chuck Hicks as some guys that can make a difference in that linebacker core. I know it's never good to lose a guy to injury for a year, but with Chuck's absence, who do you think, or how do you feel about the linebacker core that you have right now, and who do you think are guys that can fill that void without Chuck? And honestly, what role do you think he'll play even from the sidelines?
Well, Chuck is a tremendous teammate. He's a guy that came in last year late in the process. I think it was August when he got here, and really adapted himself to the team, does everything right. Injuries are an unfortunate part of the game, but his mental health is strong, and he's pushing through. And he's a coach on the sideline. He's got a lot of game experience, and so I anticipate that he'll help those guys, help Coach Smith in that meeting room, and making sure guys watch film. That is a deep room for us, and it's unfortunate that we have injuries, but we do have capable guys in that position room. We got Will Norris, Damian, Dev, Zach Lovett. So there's plenty of guys there. It's just about somebody really stepping up and taking over.
It looks like Mookie playing some outside. Is he at the point now where he can play multiple receiver spots for you?
Yeah, going into spring, we felt like we wanted to see him on the outside just because of his speed and short area quickness versus press man. We felt like he would be a matchup problem. And plus with our formation tree, we have the ability to get him into some slot too and just create some more matchup issues, and he's responded really well. He's a guy that has really done a lot of good things in camp, a lot of good things.
You've talked about the punters before. You're talking about two guys. It's kind of been narrowed down to how do you feel like they've performed throughout camp, and thoughts on that competition?
Yeah, was honestly hoping to have a little bit more clarity on that job, but both of those guys have really been battling. Even tonight, I thought those guys, when they got out there, had some really key punts. But we're going to have to decide that this week, and so it'll be really whoever has the best week will go into next week as the starter.
One of the guys who transferred, I don't think we've talked much to you about, but he was out there a little tonight, Josh Landry. I mean, what have you seen from him since he got here, and what do you like about how he can help you?
Yeah, I think the entire defensive tackle room that we've accumulated through the transfer portal has done a really nice job. Christian Williams, Jaden Jernigan, and Josh Landry all have bought into competition and understanding that this is their opportunity. There's no more transfer portal opportunities for them. They got to make it now. And so they've really, put in the work with Coach Russ in the weight room, with Coach Davis, and those guys have done a nice job in the trenches. Again, that was a real position of concern for us. And now I think it's a position of depth and strength. We're going to get Daniel Robledo back. He'll be full speed in team on Tuesday, which will be another guy in there with experience. And so that's a position that we ought to be very fresh in every game.
One area where you most like to see improvement between now and first game?
Yeah, offensively, it's been third down execution. I think we've done okay on explosive plays and being able to run the ball and play actions, but haven't felt like that the third down rhythm and execution between the quarterbacks and the wide receivers was where it needs to be. And when it's on time, our protections haven't been able to hold up. And so we got to all get on the same page. Louisiana Tech has a very aggressive third down plan, and they've got a very good blitz package that we've studied for the summer. And so, we've been trying to introduce some of those plays into fall camp just to see if we can get a little bit extra footing on it. And so far haven't been as good as we want to be offensively on third down. Defensively, we've had 2 scrimmages and haven't been able to create a turnover. And so that's an area of concern for me. I think that's a thing that we got to do. It's the number one indicator of success statistically in wins and losses is who wins the turnover margin. Second is usually explosive plays. So we got to force turnovers.
Eli, Chris Higgins-Drain, it looked like at outside corner tonight. I think he handled a lot of slot last year. Then also at kicks, kick and punt returners after I think he handled mostly kicks last year. What's your confidence level in him to handle that right now?
Yeah, Chris is a young man who's, came here, was a wide receiver, moved over, played defense. We asked him to play slot. Nickel last year, thought he handled it really well, was really a complete player for us at that position. And with our defensive scheme being more of a a 3 safety rotation, and Tez and Dalen handling in that position and fitting more in the run allowed us the flexibility to put KAD outside. I think Coach Pogue's been really good for him as far as developing his toolbox as a defensive back. And then we all know how electric he is with the ball in his hands, whether you go back and watch his high school tape or the kickoff return last year versus Tennessee. He's got deceptive speed, good vision, and so, yeah, we're confident in him.
How do you feel like Connor Tollison has grown throughout camp, understanding that position?
Well, he's actually lost a little weight that we're a little concerned about, so he's not growing in the right way there. It's hard to play center in this league, and it's going to be really hard as a redshirt freshman. And so he's got big shoes to fill. We had one of the most durable, complete centers in the country last year with Mike, and so he's got a big shoes to fill. But he's very capable. He loves football. He loves the University of Missouri. He's given us everything he's got. But like I saw him in there pregame, he's going to have to eat. We got to get him. We got to get his weight up in order to be able to handle it in the trenches.
Eli, what do you like about what Tyler Stevens has done for you? It looks like you can flex him out, move him around a little bit.
Yeah, Tyler's a guy that's really come on the last 7 days of camp. He started a little bit slow, and I think you could attribute that to the ankle sprain that he had in spring and missed most of spring. But he's starting to catch his stride. He's a guy that I really challenged the first 4 days of fall camp because I didn't think he was practicing at the level that we needed him to, and he's responded. He's a guy that will play physical at the wide position, but he has good length and ball skills and range. And I think 3 days ago had a one-handed catch, was Offensive Player of the Day. So he's a guy that's, as he continues to get comfortable in our offense, hopefully we can create some matchup issues with him and Quebec.
Eli, you talked about building intensity ahead of the game against Louisiana Tech. What exactly does the ramp-up process look like between now and getting into that first game week and building from where we're at now in fall camp to being game ready before, because obviously you can't emulate real game snaps tonight or during practices, but what does that process kind of look like as you build toward that game?
Well, Tuesday it'll be a full toughness Tuesday where they have their lift groups in the morning, go to class, show up, have a meeting, get a scouting report, go out 22 periods, and it'll be scouts, good on good. It'll be a hard practice, and they're going to have their mindset right, and we will go through a game week. We'll go toughness Tuesday, Wednesday, thorough Thursday, fast Friday. Saturday will be what would traditionally be a normal Sunday, and then we'll come back actually Sunday will be a normal Monday, which would be their off day, and then Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll play Thursday. So, we'll recreate it. The good thing about our team is we got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, whether it's in the transfers or not. So they understand. You can tell they're chomping at the bit to get out of fall camp mode and get into game week mode, and they're ready to try to get their bodies back right and be ready to go full speed.
Coach, you said today's practice wasn't as exciting for fans as you might have hoped, and you also mentioned maybe some of the weaknesses that you guys were looking to improve on. But heading into this year, we're less than 2 weeks away. What should fans be excited for this year?
Well, that's a great question. Hopefully they're excited about Missouri football and cheering on their Tigers. And this is going to be a team that plays really hard. It means something to this team to represent this state. They ought to be excited about the number of in-state players that we have, the guys that they can align themselves with. They ought to be excited about the transfers who chose to come and put on the black and gold and play. Had a lot of places they could have gone, but they chose to be here and represent this state. And they ought to be excited about the third year of our program and what we're trying to accomplish and taking steps. And it's not going to be easy, and we need everybody. We're better together. We're better when the fans are here and everybody's rooting in all the right direction. Do I think it'll be perfect? No. Are there going to be struggles? Yeah, absolutely. But there's going to be a lot of fight in our football team. There's a lot of togetherness in what we're trying to accomplish right now. And I don't want to predict what the season's going to hold, but I do predict that our team's going to play really hard and they're going to play together. And I'm excited about the opportunities that lie ahead for this group.
Thank you, sir.
That was a great question. It was good.